My name's Kay Permanent, and I'm Asha's grandmother. She calls me Nan. I was born Trinidad in a little country village called Rosilac. It was called Rosilac CM School, which the Canadian Mission had built. It was a Presbyterian school. I was 5 years old when I started, and by 7 years old I moved to another school, which was in another district, Orapooch Government School. Been there for at least a year and a half when I was moved back to the same school. Because the principal was a new principal and his wife, they both came to teach there, and they went around the district asking the parents to move the children back to the school, because before that the school was really in a bad shape. So my dad decided, my parents I should say, decided to bring me back and not my brother. Because he was older, he was almost finishing grade school, so he was left there. So I came back and I went to school there to grade 6. The school was set up with each teacher having a class, and they taught every subject to that class. Math, English, geography, everything that they taught, the one teacher had to teach that class. Because my grandmother thought girls should, at a certain age, which I was just 11 plus, she thought girls have to stay home, learn to cook and sew, iron and wash. So when they get married, which they did at an early age at my time, so you can be a good housewife.
And how did you feel about that?
Terrible. I never wanted to stop. I always wanted to go to school and do better than my parents. But parents had the say, and I had no choice. I had to leave. There were Hindu schools being built. My former teacher became the principal of that school. And he had always liked me as a student, and when they were looking for someone to do the needlework in school, to teach the kids, he thought of me. I was the first person he thought of, because I was sewing since I was 10 years old. I made my first dress with my uncle and my mom's help when I was about 10 and a half, 11. My uncle, one of them, used to give me a page with lines. I could barely sit and reach the pedal to do the sewing, so I would stand and pedal that machine, and I had to learn to stitch on that line. So I would learn to stitch straight.
Wow. So because your teacher knew you and knew that you had this skill, how did you get to come into the school as a teacher?
Well, he appointed me and they accepted. So I got to do what I always wanted to do, to teach something. So I got that privilege to teach the children that skill. And I taught that until 1968. That Christmas holiday I had to quit. I was pregnant and my baby was due in April. And I had plans to come to Canada, so I figured I will quit because I wasn't going to go back after Sastry was born.
So how old were you when you started that job?
I was about 17 and I left when I was 30.
What does education mean to you?
A lot. I think education, if you can take as much as you can't sell it, you can't buy it, and it will always be with you. Nobody can take it away. That's what I think education is, and people who have the privilege should do it.
Okay.